What's going on, fellas? So I'm getting ready for specialized leg day. Make that YouTube video for you guys. So I got to stretch a little bit, so I figured I'd answer questions. If you guys have any questions on anything that I can support you on, that's what I'm here for. What's this on, Chris? YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Sebastian said, yo.
What up, Sebastian?
Dev Life said, hey, Chris.
What's up, man? Let me see. Catch a damn cramp in my foot.
Someone said, please answer this question, but they didn't ask a question.
Any kind of questions you guys have? Athleticism, strength, life? No life.
Someone said, hi, I play lacrosse, and I don't know what to do to become more explosive.
I don't know what your training looks like. That's a pretty vague question, first of all. You could do better than that. But you should be lifting and jumping. When you become more explosive, you lift and jump. Don't overcomplicate things. I swear if I get that question one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Go get the flight system. I'm just gonna start answering with that. Get the flight system. You will get explosive doing the flight system. Guaranteed. And if not, I will fly you here. If any of you do the flight system and stay true to it for 3 months and not get more explosive, increase your vertical, your broad, or get faster. This is a challenge for any one of you. Perform the flight system in its entirety as intense as you possibly can. And if you do not get results, I will fly you here and I will train you for 3 months on my dime. Now that for a deal. That's how much I believe in that shit.
Yo, is there a baseline of strength you should achieve before engaging in jump training?
No. A lot of people ask that. Now, it depends on what kind of, now certain movements, yes, right? Certain, depth jumps, things of that, not really, but more advanced technical jump training, yes. However, think about it like this. Kids play basketball, right? At young ages. They're jumping around on the playground. How is that any different? All you're doing is in training is you're putting it in a controlled setting. There's no age limit on any of that shit. You know what I mean? I hate when people say that, but it's like you don't need to squat 300 pounds and start jumping around. You're already doing that on the playground.
What do you think about Strength Camp International, and are you going to be visiting anywhere?
Yes, Strength Camp International is a shit. We've already went to open one up in Ackworth, which is right outside Atlanta. We have one in Portland. We have one in Gainesville, Florida. We have 2 in the UK. We have one coming in Jacksonville. We have one coming right now, we just found out, in Houston. So if you want a particular city on lockdown, we're not doing CrossFit style. It's one of those where it's first come, first serve for that city or for that area. So if you want one, you got to get on it pretty quickly because we're moving fast on that and guys are picking them up left and right. Pretty soon we're going to have a strength camp in every single city in the world.
How to beat jumper's knee?
Here's the thing. When it comes to jumper's knee, a lot of you guys self-diagnose, and that's what I've been dealing with a lot of guys. So a lot of times there's some things going on or some muscular imbalances or ways that you're jumping. There's a slew of things that could be happening, and a lot of times what I notice, it isn't normally what they think it is. So that's a very hard question to answer. I've given videos where I give tips on other stuff, but really, it goes deeper than that. So I don't want to answer that without seeing you or seeing you jump, because something's going on there. But usually what I recognize with some of my athletes when they experience any kind of knee pain or things of that, when they start performing plyometrics, it's not what they think it is.
How does one get explosive pull-ups chest to bar without kipping?
Get stronger in your pull-ups. When I sucked at pull-ups, I would walk in and I would do pull-ups every single day. Also, perform some kind of like a band-resisted pull-down where you can actually perform it with speed. But really every day, pull-ups are one of those things that I don't think you can overtrain unless you do like a crazy back exercise. But if you just come in and try to hit as many pull-ups as you can, 1-2 sets every single day, or you walk past the bar, just perform a couple pull-ups. You just got to get better at that pulling motion.
Do you find it more beneficial to bring a competitive training partner for clients or challenge them yourself?
Absolutely. As far as coaching goes, when I was working with Bo and Dante Bichette, 2 baseball players, one thing I noticed is I wanted to get them extremely strong and powerful, even at baseball. I had a guy who was essentially training for, he played Division I running back. He was training for a combine, and when I paired those guys together, their strengths and weaknesses start to bring each other up in your certain levels. Like, his conditioning sucks, so when they went, as an athlete, you're naturally always competing, if you're like me. And as you're naturally competing all the time like that, when you put people in a setting and perform certain movements where or exercises, naturally your mind is going to want to keep up with that other person. I always attribute, like, if I'm training for something, my biggest thing is to get with somebody who's a little bit stronger than me. When I was good, I owe my success, like with Strongman, to Elliot. He was always stronger than me, but me trying to keep up my competitive nature as an athlete always supported me in getting stronger. If you're out there by yourself, you don't have that benchmark.
I feel pain in LB every time I deadlift with right form, while some people, I don't even know what he's trying to say here.
He has pain in his lower back.
Yeah, but then he messed up. Yeah, it got weird. Do you know where it is in the UK?
Yeah, we're actually looking at, there's going to be one in Chester, and there's going to be one in Reading. And a guy just came in, he wants one in London. One of our previous interns, Jack, he wants one in Nottingham. And another guy is interested in one in Manchester. I've never been over there, but obviously if we get that many, I'm going to have to take a trip.
You're getting a lot of questions about Jumper's knee on here.
Jumper's knee. I'm going to make a video on it. A full video on it.
Are front squats as effective for increasing your vertical as back squats?
I made a video about this recently. No. Here's the reason why. Front squats, you're typically not as strong in front squats as you are in back squats. Reason being is because back squat is an axial load. When you front squat, you're having to support that through that thoracic region. So with that being said, when you're trying to get a vertical jump, you're trying to produce as much absolute strength in your hips as possible. So if I can go heavier on the back squat, I can apply more stimulus to my posterior chain, which will ultimately make you jump higher.
Chris, is getting active or changing your diet a more important first step if you can only change one?
Ooh. For what's the goal? Active? It's your movement or diet?
Yeah.
If you're sedentary, I say start moving. But if you're extremely overweight, you need to get that in check first. Damn, my hip is tight.
from foam rolling before or after workout?
I do both. What I notice is I do certain movements on foam roller before because they're extremely tight. And by foam rolling, you passively elongate the muscle, right? So if I have a tight muscle and I start to foam roll it, I begin to passively elongate it. What I mean is I'm not pulling on that muscle, I'm ironing it out, right? So if you think like a rolling pin on dough, you're lengthening that muscle. And certain muscles, I like to do that. I have a bunch of muscles in my right hip because I drive and my hip is slightly flexed and it's cocked to the side and pressing the gas. So these muscles right here, your TFL, all those others, they can become really tight on me. As opposed to a stretch, I really like to lacrosse or foam roll those out. After, I like to treat it as more of a recovery type thing where I'm actually, creating some blood flow to the tissue by rolling it out, almost like a massage.
What's your favorite NFL team?
The Bucks. Tampa Bay, man. Jameis Winston, we just drafted O.J. Howard. I would have loved for them to draft David Njoku, but from the U, but they got a good one because he's a mismatch and he's a different style of tight end. We also got we got some good guys in this past draft. Gamer. Shit, I'm super tight.
Could you train balance blindfolded?
Yeah. Absolutely. Do single leg toe touches, right? Perform a single leg toe touch. Oh shit. Here. Then close your eyes. Perform the same thing. Boom. It's gonna be a lot harder. I feel unstable.
What major would fit best into becoming a strength and conditioning coach?
Exercise science. Exercise science. I went, the professor called it applied kinesiology and physiology. That's what I did. But that was the pre-med track. Now, I didn't need all that. I didn't need organic chemistry and physics. What organic chemistry and physics did for me in my life was discipline me to study my ass off. So I had to develop a process to be able to pass those classes. I wasn't always the smartest. I'm not book smart, I'm street smart. So what I mean by street smart is I have common sense. If I need to get an A to do this, I know the steps to take to get an A. It's not like it's just gifted. I'm not one of those kids. We had kids in there that were setting curves and that shit like crazy. I used to hate those kids. I'm over here struggling, trying to figure out this carbon compound.
What's the best split for vertical jump training?
I go 2 and 2. So 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. However, on the lower body, I'll either perform some kind of a pull or unilateral movement on one day with a squat on the other day. Or you could do something where it's a little more dynamic effort, a little more power, and you're moving away as fast as possible, and the other day is extremely heavy. And then the 2 upper body days, you could split between like a push-pull, or you could do like a bench press and an overhead press the other day.
What's your favorite bulking meal?
My favorite or the best? What I used to do when I was trying to bulk was I used to make 1,000-calorie shakes. So I used to take a blender, and I used to crack like a couple eggs, ice cream, peanut butter, protein, banana, oatmeal. I put everything in it, just load it up, and I would drink one of those every single morning and one of those after every single workout.
Is full body 3 times a week better than a split for a natty?
Is full body better than 3 times a week? Split for a natty. It depends, but I don't know. Are you beginning, advanced? I wouldn't say total body if you're advanced. I would go, if you have 3 days to work out, I would go push-pull legs. push, pull legs, push, pull legs. Repeat.
Flat feet, how to deal with them when running, sprinting, and jumping. I feel it limits my results.
Yeah, you got to do things to strengthen the arch of your foot. So if the arch of your foot is completely, now if you have a navicular drop, right, that's the way it's designed, you need to do things to begin to support that. I had a kid like that and he kept tearing his ACL. He came to me and we had to do things to support that so he wouldn't tear his ACL anymore. He actually had to get his was really bad. And for him to actually play that season and not compromise his knee, he needed to get some kind of soles or something. But if you just have a pretty flat foot and you need to build up that arch, you can put a towel there and perform things where you're essentially pulling that towel in, right? And you just want to be able to increase that. Now roll it out with a lacrosse ball, but then also perform movements where, there's actually muscle there. So you want to just support that and build that.
This guy rephrased this question. I feel pain in my lower back when I deadlift with good form, while some people with bad form don't feel pain. Any advice?
Man, that's a loaded question, dude. There's so many things that could factor into that. One, real quick, some of these questions are so hard to ask without looking at you guys. Try this. So, grab a foam roller. Either perform the stretch that I was just doing, which is called the pigeon. You can look that up on Google. Or try lengthening your piriformis by sitting on the foam roller and then crossing your foot and putting that butt cheek right there, and you'll just roll back and forth on that. Just like that. Try that. I don't know what your form looks like. I don't know if you're utilizing too much back. The bar might be over your knees too much, so you might be utilizing your lower back a little bit more as opposed to your glutes and hamstrings. There's so many different factors that go into that. It's hard for me to answer without looking at you.
What's your thoughts on interset stretching?
If you have a very bad imbalance and it's decreasing your mechanical efficiency, I say to stretch. So you guys know, for instance, just to give you a complete example, I work with Dante. You guys have seen him. He was on a video of the off-season baseball. His ankles are so tight. I'll have him stretch his ankles and increase his ankle mobility in between every single set of his squats because they're that tight. So I'll have him perform just something where I'm stretching those out and they'll continue to increase. I hop down on a foam roller on my side in between sets because the more I'm able to break that up over the course of me squatting, the better it feels. I try to hit it in the beginning, but then also do it during. So if you're doing it for any other purpose besides trying to create an efficient movement, it's probably not right.
What's the best program to get to win a strongman competition and a strength camp challenge?
Hybrid strongman is the best strongman. What I feel is the best strongman program, and that's made by Elliott. And a lot of people will debate it, and there's a lot of strongmen out there, but I will say this. It wasn't about the actual program. I think it was more about the intensity he taught me how to train that shit with. Because strongman is brutal. It's so masochistic. Like you're beating the shit out of your body every single implement. And it's who can weather the most amount of pain, to be honest with you. That's how I look at it. I was never the strongest dude in that sport, but I could keep up with people because I just had that grit. It's all about your mental for strongman, at least in my opinion. Unless you have these guys who are obviously taking supplements and getting ridiculously strong. But a lot of those grinding out ones where it's like 60 seconds or whatever, it's, hey, make the movement as efficient as possible and shut your brain off and go.
I play college linebacker. When I'm squatting or doing bent over rows, my low back, and core seems to act up. I shake even though my legs have the power to move the weight.
Sounds like a stability problem. You need to continue to, what do you say, his core and his lower back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pure stability. Perform things. You need to perform integrated movement, a lot of stability stuff. So whether it be side planks, but weight them. You know, if you're a college linebacker, you should have that stability through your torso. But if you don't, you got to do a lot of things to create stability throughout your torso.
Do you have any workouts for MMA fighters?
I don't. Should I make one? I have a video on it. Maybe I should make one for you guys.
Do you have any muscular imbalances, and if so, what are you doing to fix it?
Absolutely, man. I always do. I sit at a desk all day. Like, if you guys don't notice, my posture is really bad. My upper back, when I broke my shoulder, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have a big ass scar there, and it put me in a sling for months. And not only did I my collarbone is made of metal. I don't even have a collarbone. It's attached by 2 pieces of metal, a rod, and because it got shattered when I was playing football. So with that, I tore everything, and I had to stay in a cast. So the healing process, I left there. I didn't get physical therapy after. I came back to Florida because I was broke in Arizona. So being in a sling that whole time, my thoughts were I was so ignorant. My thoughts were, oh, I got to perform more bench pressing, more incline pressing, and never have to worry about that again. Like my shoulder, I didn't even get feeling back in my shoulder forever. Like you could tap me on my shoulder and I wouldn't know because there was so much nerve damage. And through that, and then more school, sitting at a desk all day, even though I'm at a stand-up desk, sitting at a desk all day, my thoracic region, so I really have to focus on my neck and my back. Certain things act up. When I was playing, they were better because I was constantly focusing on my hips. My hips will get tighter as time goes on as well. I always try to work on those.
You've had a lot of requests for soccer videos.
Soccer? Okay. What do y'all want to know about soccer? Hey, people don't know this. When I was a kid, I played soccer, and I was actually pretty good. You didn't even know that, did you, Chris?
I did?
I was real good. Like club soccer, they called it here.
Someone wants to know how much experience do you have in movement training guys like Ido Portal?
Nothing. That stuff looks awesome, but my thing in fitness has always been performance. And not to say that they're not performance, but they're a different style of performance. And my performance style of training has been to power athletes. Your football, your baseball, your basketball, your soccer. These sports essentially trying to create the best movements as you can for each sport. So I try to get as best as I can in those particular movements. So I didn't really spend too much time on that kind of stuff. Not to say it's not good, especially for like general population and things. Who knows, I might change one day, but yeah, I focus on like team sports, you know.
This guy must have missed out this week. Chest and delts continue to grow while my arms continue to lag. Any advice?
Specialize. Hit arms like 2-3 times a week. I have a arm routine, specialized arm routine on my channel. Strength Camp just uploaded one of actual workout. Do those. There's a set type of movements that I suggest for each one that will support you in growing your arms. But it's also what kind of arms you like. Like I don't like those big peaking arms, like those massive bulky ones. I like the long, like I don't know, wiry look, the 300 look, athlete built look.
How to get an athletic, fit, vascular legs like Cristiano Ronaldo, because I want to lose fat from my legs and not just gain muscle.
Run, Why does Cristiano Ronaldo have legs like that? Because he's fucking running every day for hours on end. He's jogging up and down a soccer field all the time. You gotta be performing the same thing. And get your diet in check. You lose fat by staying active and having the proper diet. Last one. I wanna get training.
Chris, what is your go-to cues when teaching the big three?
That's a loaded ass question. So squat, screw your feet into the ground to produce torque. Bench, bend the bar to produce torque. Deadlift, go-to in deadlift. Really, the most thing I continue to say with deadlift with teaching my guys is neutral spine. I don't teach with the up rounded back. Those guys who are really good and strong in deadlift, they can lift with the upper back because they're that strong. They've been able to create stability in that position. When I'm teaching an athlete, I want to create as much stability with a neutral spine as I can.
What position did you play in soccer?
Midfield. Striker. I once had like 4 or 5 goals at one time in a game. And the parents were so pissed. This is when I was young.
You wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm done. All right, guys, gonna film this specialized leg training. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Well, I supported some of you guys. I'll catch y'all next time.
And make sure you guys subscribe.